What can you say about you that'll make everyone feel sorry for you in a moment? My dad was shot and hanged during the Balkan War. I found out by seeing a photo of him in that condition after he had been missing for some months. Oh frick. D. I am so sorry. My dad died of cancer when I was 11. My mum died of cancer when I was 18. Her funeral was the day before my sister went to uni. In between before these times I've lost pretty much every other family member, so it's me, my sister and brother. My twin brother and only sibling committed suicide, and I had to drive an hour to my parents' house to tell them. When we got there, they were out to dinner with friends, so I had to call them and tell them to come home right away. Man, that sucked. I started having a panic attack walking to their door, and almost collapsed in the driveway. Thank goodness for my husband. My brother committed suicide. Also, I was 16 at the time. One of the most earth-shattering moments of my life. That was almost 7 years ago. 10 months ago I lost another brother, this time to a massive heart attack. He was only 35. It's been a rough year. My dad pimped me out for drugs when he couldn't afford more and couldn't cook it himself, and sodomized raped me repeatedly through the years. It stopped when I was about 10 though. His parents, my grandparents, are asking how to get into contact with me so they can reunite us to start the healing process, yet do not believe I was sexually abused because I'm a boy. Some people forgive, but some people, like myself, would give a huge finger to my family and start over. You deserve a better life and better people. I finally found my birth father after delaying the paperwork for 4 years. He died 3 years ago. I'll never get to shake his hand. I've never met mine either. I only know his name and it's questionable it is even it. I hear he was about 26 when I was born. I am 30, so he's around 56. That's a pretty real possibility he could be dead as well. I don't want to shake his hand, I want to punch him in the face. Thought. Sorry to hear. Either way. When I was a kid, I won tickets to see Purple Rain in the theater. My mom wouldn't let me go because we already had plans to go to my grandmother's house that day. I have Crohn's disease, primary sclerosing cholangitis, Scheuermann's disease, I've had gallstones and no longer have a gallbladder, and I have had 5 or 6 colonoscopies. I'm 27. Dang. Dog. When I asked my wife of 20 years if she ever loved me, she replied, very matter-of-factly, number, we have a child together. I'm pretty sure I'm not the biological father. I stay for my son, because he has a stable, happy life. My wife and I never fight. The only thing he asks for is a sibling, which, for various reasons, he can never have, and it breaks my heart. These are things I cannot avoid thinking about every single day. Don't burn yourself to keep others warm. Seriously though, I'm sure your son would be happier with a father who respects himself more than he would with you and your wife together. I'm having diarrhea as I'm typing this. At least you'll be able to get a run on with your comments. I got kicked out when I was 17 and I developed a burning fear of touch as a result of my mother holding a butcher's knife to my throat for what seemed to be an eternity after getting upset with me. It's mostly better now. I have my own place and I'm set to graduate high school in about a month. I had a girlfriend who pretended this very thing has happened to her, except not to her mother but a friend who was holding the knife. So her fear of touch was why she didn't want to hug, hold hands, do anything intimate with me. Turns out she just found me a bit repulsive and hated me but wanted to see how in love I could get with her because she is fascinated by psychology. I saw this girl eating ice cream at another friend's house. Apparently she has a condition when she eats that her right eye twitches. Unknown to me I say, you're really eyeing that ice cream. She cried and everyone hated me. Whoops. I was a stay-at-home dad for my first marriage. When my daughter was 2 I got a divorce and thanks to the judge's opinion a father should not be the primary custodial parent. So my experienced wife who is bipolar and depressive has custody and for the past 7 years has avoided the law and any forms of contact. I have not seen my daughter since she was almost 2. I fear that she has been raised to hate me and I'll never get to prove to I just had to put down my dog yesterday. I've had her for the past 11 years. I'm sorry. The pain will mellow into a sweet sadness in a while and you will remember the happy times more than yesterday. You will always feel a little sad when you think of him or her, but it's a good thing. It's proof that you loved and were loved. My biological mother physically abused me until my parents divorced when I was 7. Then my stepmother did the same thing plus verbally degraded me every day. Now I can't even look people in the eyes. I worked my butt off getting sober and living a legit life. And what has it gotten me? I'm broke and my family doesn't want anything to do with me. You're still better off, not to be blunt, but if your family doesn't want anything to do with you, perhaps that's their loss. You've empowered yourself. Keep at it. I didn't know what a period was until I had one. I went from thinking I'd wet myself to thinking I was bleeding to death. This is why we need better sex ed, so when girls get their first periods, they know they're not dying. Next of kin notification of death. I have done multiple. Usually I was the one that declared official time of death. One I couldn't go through when the kid asked where's daddy. I'm an only child whose parents aren't good with kids. I learned to be alone and entertain myself. Being alone is something that I love and struggle with it. I have a lot of first world problems that are adding up to make me feel like crap, but I know they're FWP so I don't think they're valid compared to people who have real issues. Here it goes anyway. I'm in law school and in a wheelchair so I live at home because the accessible housing here is super expensive. I got a great scholarship so it's a conscious decision to save as much money as I can now so I can try to move to a better place when I'm done. The downside is I have essentially made no friends and have a DOA social life which is kinda new for me. Not terrible but I'm lonely sometimes. Rewind to a week ago. I did an appellate argument and did a great job on it. So good my professor emailed me saying I should try out for one of the prestigious advocacy teams. I wasn't really keen on it before the email but I did like the thought of finally being acknowledged here and the public speaking bug has come back after the argument. I didn't get in and I didn't realize how much I wanted this until getting rejected. I feel like crap today. I'm a mediocre student. I have no friends. I haven't gotten laid in almost 3 years and that's not liable to change for a while. Maybe 7 people in this whole building know my name. And they only know me because I'm in a wheelchair which makes me feel like a charity case. I feel like I barely exist. I just got suspended 10 days and might get my scholarship revoked because I was selling homemade brownies and someone thought they had weed in them. My girlfriend met with an accident and her father is against us because I don't belong to his religion. He was waiting for an opportunity to separate us. Trust me, I never ever felt loved so much by a person and the accident ruined everything in a second. Her parents didn't allow me to see her in hospital and didn't let any of her friends to talk with her for like 3 months. During those 3 months I was depressed like heck, didn't talk with anyone, and after 3 months, I found out the terrible truth. She lost her memory and her parents used that to get her engaged to someone from their religion. That sounds like a Lifetime movie. I was sexually assaulted on a bus ride home for 3 hours by a guy I had to see every day. I can't press charges because I'm afraid he'd come after me and kill me. My mom died 6 months before my 20th birthday. Creutzfeldt-Jacobs disease. 1 person in 1 million gets it. There was nothing to do. She just disappeared. I had septicemia. I was born with a fused ulnar and radius in both my arms, enabling me to do many things in life such as play baseball, cricket, carry things, hold items properly, etc. And when I was born, I didn't have any grandparents. They all passed away. At 16 I was feeling very down about myself and was thinking about taking my life. My brother, 21 at the time, came over one Sunday for a visit and totally broke down when I talked about how I was feeling. He had tried to hang himself in our basement but his weight broke the ceiling supports. 2 years later and it's still hard for me to go do laundry. I will never remember my dad, so his death left a void within, but I don't really know what I am missing, since I never knew what it was like to have him in my life. My birthday is the 1st of May and I'll be turning 28. At my age, however, I don't have many friends and will more than likely just be spending it alone. I'd love to go out and do something, but I don't have anyone to do it with. Maybe next year. My depression is slowly creeping back after months of not wanting to kill myself. I think I might go by the bridge tonight. Whoa. Thanks everyone. Didn't think the comment would get that big. Been at the bridge myself. Twice. Don't go. Talk to someone. Anyone. Even a stranger. Just don't go. Normally when I say that I'm adopted, it gets the usual feels, but when I tell people that my adopted father was shot before I got to meet him. From the time I was 5, I was taught the dangers of smoking. I pleaded with my parents for years to stop smoking. They didn't listen. 2 packs a day, each. My mom died of lung cancer in 2009, when I was 21, and my dad has lung cancer now and will be dead in, at best, 2 years. A lot of people here are exposing sore wounds and a lot of you people are laughing at them. Some of you make light jokes that everyone can laugh at, but others are straight up laughing at others' losses. Take a second and think about how frick that is. Up's wife died? That's so funny. Hey OP, your soulmate is dead. Isn't that funny? Frick you. Frick the people who upvoted you. Frick the people who commented with positive reactions. Reddit. I know you can be messed up sometimes, but do you ever stop to consider other people's lives? I have a rare, chronic form of leukemia. I'm in remission now, but it could come back at any time. And statistically, it does. Yay. I'm kind of a complete failure. I got into a good university for a subject I want to do, but I'm now completely ruining any chances I have of doing what I want to do. I have depression, generalized anxiety disorder, and OCD leaning heavily towards the obsessive. I want to do research in neuroscience to help people like me and hopefully to figure out why people feel like this. But my grades are really terrible. And last week I broke something at the lab I worked at because of lack of sleep, and they told me that I should stop working there for now. I can't concentrate or motivate myself off my bed most of the time, and everything seems so pointless, like I'm wasting all of my time. Half of me acknowledges these problems, but the other half thinks I'm just lazy. Nothing seems to be worth it, though. I wish my reaction to things was more than passive sadness. I attempted to kill myself earlier this week by swallowing a bottle of sleeping pills and antidepressants along with other assorted medicines. I forced myself to vomit it up a few minutes later. I'd like to think I had an epiphany, but the only real reason is that I had library books to return. I haven't told anyone, not even my girlfriend, who knows everything about me, and the worse I feel, the more I feel my problems are invalid. Even now, I feel crappy because there's someone here whose father shot him and he's blind, but who's brave enough to continue. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm blind. I've recently begun to lose my hearing too, and hearing aids don't seem to help. I'm freaking terrified. If I go completely deaf, that's it. I don't want to live like that. I just can't imagine how lonely that life would be. And what the frick would I do for fun? No music, no internet, no listening to TV shows. Frick. There'd only be 1 or 2 people in my life who I could actually communicate with. My parents and I have started learning this sort of sign language for blind deaf people. I wouldn't be able to work. I'd just be a burden on my family, and my parents aren't going to be around forever. Once they are gone, I don't want to end up in one of those group homes for people who can't take care of themselves. HIV plus since 1981. Insulin dependent diabetic since 2005, left leg amputated in 2011 from cardiovascular disease. So far, all of those things that happen to people, you don't deserve that, and I am sorry that you have to deal with it. I just realized how good I have it. Even though I had severe depression for years, I battled it and I am luckily now over the reason. Working out helps. For the people who are depressed. I was an abandoned drug exposed baby who got beat by my adopted father when I was young. I'll forget all about Reddit when I eventually get Alzheimer's. From the genetics, it's like a 100% chance I'm getting it. No avoiding it. This is not something you can fix by doing word puzzles. Your body will start sending tiny razor blades, malformed proteins, prions, into your brain and make it into a sponge, or spongiform. When I hit near retirement, I am going to write up a will that defines everything explicitly that cannot ever be superseded, not even spousal involvement. It will define that I would like to never be disturbed by visitors the moment I am defined as having dementia. I do not want anyone to see me like that. There is no special moments to be had at that point, just watching my brain break down and how my body acts. Frick America and its anti-suicide policies. No one ever wants to live in a state where they forget everything a minute after they experience it. I'm in a very similar boat, however I am only 16 at this point. Honestly, my outlook is to just live life while I can and help the people I can help. I will give them memories of me that the disease cannot ruin. I want my friends and family to remember me for who I really was. But I am going into the army, so maybe won't make it till 90. To be honest, I'd rather die than face the realities of dementia. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.